Uh-oh.
Steel cage match underway. Peter Maivia versus George the Animal Steele. Most of the matches between Peter Maivia and George Steele have ended inconclusively, but this time we'll have a winner.
These are two very different men, Cole. The High Chief is a man of great pride and respect for the ring. While Steele is, well, he's an animal. I can't think of two opponents with more opposing styles.
You said it, Corey. Let's just hope this one gets taken care of in the ring tonight. Gentlemen, we've touched on the differences between Maivia and Steele as competitors. One man based on order, the other on chaos, but it's reflected in their looks, too.
Indeed, Michael. Just look at the sculpted physique of the High Chief. And the tribal tattoos on his body are extremely intricate and definitely eye-catching.
And Steele is, well, he's an ugly creature. Enough hair on his upper torso to classify as fur. Folds in his bald head. He's like a modern-day Neanderthal.
This is disgusting! Just speaks to the animosity at play here, I guess. Willing to fight like an animal. Mistake made by Steele. Peter Maivia very tough, but he also has movie star good looks. Quite the combo.
And in certain... Well, Michael, in fact, the High Chief has major acting and stunt work credits to his name. And who knows, maybe we'll see the Maivia name on Hollywood billboards again sometime.
Well, before any of that happens, the High Chief needs to survive this war against the animal.
We've seen that Steele isn't above using a foreign object to gain the edge against Maivia. So he's got to have the advantage in a match where they're surrounded by one huge weapon, right?
Well, you'd think that, Cole, but think about how these men prepared for this match. The High Chief is a consummate professional who's game planned for this stipulation. And Steele, well, I think he just shows up to the arena and asks who he's fighting.
Maivia one step ahead. George the Animal Steele might be a bit of an underdog here. In fact, he lost the match by countout to the High Chief.
In Steele's defense, I'm not sure he knows how to...
How exactly, or how to read a rule.
He's got to be happy to be in this cage.
Well, Maivia is called the High Chief in part because of his commanding presence in the ring. He's more than ready for what the animal will throw at him. Even inside a cage. Tremendous pressure applied.
George with great awareness.
Momentum is all with Maivia now.
And you can see Steele is struggling to weather the storm with the High Chief.
Effective counter.
Crucial turnaround there because George was falling behind.
But George has to push now while the window's open.
You would have to question the mentality of someone who just sunk their teeth into flesh.
Ringing the arm. Looking now for a top wrist lock.
But this opponent still fighting back.
George the Animal Steele is not a wrestler by any stretch of the imagination, guys. He's a true brawler.
And he might be the best brawler in WWE, Michael. There is no shortage of fight in the animal.
But you know who might be a better brawler, guys? The High Chief Peter Maivia. When you consider that Maivia is also an excellent high flyer and a great technician, well, you can see why the High Chief is the favorite in this match, even with the steel cage stipulation.
Maivia just dominates.
Maivia looking at it all here.
What was that? He had him exactly where he wanted him.
Peter Maivia has something brewing.
Backbreaker. Is it enough? Is it enough for
Some folks call Peter Maivia the Flying Hawaiian, and the reasons are obvious for that moniker. But guys, how has he earned the other nickname of the High Chief?
Well, Cole, Peter Maivia is very close to the Hawaii family. In fact, Peter's considered a blood brother to the patriarch of that clan.
When you add on the fact that Maivia was born and raised in Samoa, you can see the great pride he has for that land and its people and the tribal ink that covers his body.
Peter Maivia is looking unstoppable now.
Yeah, Maivia has really figured the animal out here. Ooh! Oh!
Oh, he cuts it off.
Crucial turnaround there because George was back and forth we go. Boom! Slugging away with everything they've got. So much pride, so much resiliency on display.
Toe-to-toe, treating each other like heavy bags.
Oh, ouch!
Big-time hammer fist. Steel turning Maivia into the hunted here. Looking to break trouble here. Can he get it full locked in?
Twisting there, able to punch his way out.
And George Steele has the High Chief in dire straits after that move. Uh-oh. Headbutt. Nothing fancy there.
The High Chief Peter Maivia really making a name for himself at WWE, but he's had plenty of experience on the way up.
Plenty of championships on the West Coast, but he's made the biggest splash in Hawaii where he earned multiple tag team titles.
Oh yeah, Maivia is a huge celebrity on the islands. In fact, I've heard some consider him the personification of Maui.
Splash! Into the pin. Could be over for Maivia. Forces the shoulder up after two.
What a match.
Uh-oh.
Denied with an elbow.
Jarring European uppercut. The animal has to be elated to be in this steel cage against one of his biggest rivals, no less.
Yeah, Byron, we've seen the animal brandish a weapon against Peter Maivia before when it was against the rules. The High Chief better be prepared for Steele to get even crazier.
Oh, Maivia's prepared all right. The man is extremely tough and agile.
He wants to end this for the win! Releasing the pin, he's adding insult to injury.
Maivia has Steele in his sights, looking to put the animal down.
He's about to do it, he's about to do it again!
Into a backbreaker. No way Steele's coming back from that.
Makes the cover! And the High Chief defeats the animal!
Here is your winner, High Chief Peter Maivia!
Anytime these two have faced off, it's been eye for an eye. But the steel cage has finally delivered a decisive victory for the High Chief, Peter Maivia.
George Steele is one tough animal, but the way Maivia faced him in the cage tonight just reinforced what everyone already knew, that the High Chief...
Okay, that's the end of that, showcase, and this showcase would be Nia Jax versus Ross' episode showcase. Again, this time she left.